Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a webinar of Litgrid interim financial results for the first half of 2017. My name is Justinas Juknys, and I'm an account manager here at Nasdaq Vilnius. I am pleased to introduce our today's host, the CEO of Litgrid, Mr. Daivis Virbickas. Before we proceed with the presentation, I will shortly introduce you with our today's agenda. First of all, Mr. Virbickas is going to comment on Litgrid's performance so far in 2017 and inform us about current events in the company. Afterwards, we will be answering questions. So we would like to hear from you during our today's webinar. So please feel free to send your questions along using the questions box on your webinar control panel. All questions will be answered after the presentation. Once again, thank you for those of you just joining. Welcome to today's session. And Daivis, then I would like to invite you to start the presentation.
Thank you for introduction. Good morning, everyone. My name is Daivis Virbickas. I'm CEO of Litgrid, and I'm glad to be here and to have an opportunity to present about Litgrid, how we are, where we are, and where we are going to be as a company. First of all, let me briefly remind you responsibilities and the business area of Litgrid. We are keeping power system running. We are responsible for reliability of the electric power system as a whole. We maintain balance between electricity generation and consumption. We are responsible of integration of renewable sources, mainly wind. We implementing strategic projects such as Nordbalt, Litpolink, synchronization in the future, which leads to integration into European grids, not only infrastructure-wise, but very important market-wise. We are also responsible to establish sufficient market platform for sufficient trading. All our infrastructure we own is critical for the Lithuanian economy. It's strategic infrastructure, and to make it happen, to achieve our goals, we have to be center of competences. As we say in Litgrid, to understand our business, you have to understand what's going on starting from Helsinki, ending in Lisbon, and starting in Oslo, ending in Vladivostok. So the first is due to our future, the second is due to our historical integration with previous Soviet Union grid. Our mission to ensure reliable transmission of electricity, enable competition in the open electricity market, not only in Lithuania, but in region as well as in whole Europe, according our interest. Our vision is full integration of the Lithuanian power system into European infrastructure and common electricity market in region. So about the grid in numbers, we own 7,200 kilometers of high voltage power lines. We own HVDC technology. It's a completely new technology in our grid, in Lithuanian power system. I mean Nordbalt and Litpolink. So those two links are asynchronous interconnections with Sweden and Poland. The rest 15 interconnections are synchronous. So it's Latvia, Belarus, and Kaliningrad area. We operate and we keep reliability, keeping our personnel on duty 24 hours per day, 7 days per week. And last numbers, ENS, energy not supplied, it's 1.19 megawatt hours, and average interruption time, AET, it's 0.05 minutes, which corresponds to 3 seconds. So it's very good. Those are very good numbers. So it's much better than European average level. We belong to EPSO-G group. EPSO-G is a holding company owning Litgrid as well as Ambergrid, gas operator, Baltpool, responsible for trading. So Litgrid also owns Tetas, our daughter company, competing in very tough construction sector, grid construction sector. Litgrid owns PowerLink service. They are responsible to maintain and to maintain Nordbalt and Litpolink. Nordpool 2% only. It's a power exchange operator in Baltic and Scandinavia, and Litpolink, our joint venture with Polish system operator, we own 50%. This company was responsible for successful implementation, for support of success of implementation of Litpolink project. Revenue and costs. You can see that costs increased during year 2016. The same tendency, the same trend is for the year 2017. And the key reason is we have in our grid Nordbalt and Litpolink. It generates additional revenues, additional income to the company, but also we have to spend some money to keep them running. We depend very much, our revenue depends very much on decision of National Commission of Energy and Control. We call it regulator. And last year, transmission services price was reduced 2.75%, but despite reduced price, our revenues from transmission business is growing. It's due to the fact that electricity consumption is growing. So if consumption is growing, need for transmission growing as well. The most fastest growing is in industry. So during the last half of the year, industry grew by 3%. Next one is services sector, 2.4%, and demand in household. In our houses, we consumed 2.2% more electricity comparing with the previous half of the year. So then another important part of our income is income from so-called system services. Those services are necessary to keep the system reliability from generation point of view. We buying reserves, and system services tariff was increased by decision of Commission, and it depends on the cost of reserves available in Lithuanian market to keep system in a secure level. As I told already, the key reason for the difference between year 2015 and 2016, 2017, you can see lower revenues in 2015, lower costs. It's due to interconnection with Poland and Sweden. How results look like, I mean EBITDA and net profit, the same tendency. We have a higher profit than in 2015, higher EBITDA than in 2015. We see some difference between this half year in 2017 and the previous one in 2016. The key reason of it is in 2016 we got as an income 4.1 million euros as a penalty charges paid from contractors. It was temporary event, so we don't have any significant penalty charges in 2017. That's why we see, for instance, in EBITDA, 4.1 million euros difference. About trends, I mean trends of return indicators and return of equity as well as return of assets. They are growing, and the key reason, the key influencing factor is interconnections with Poland and Sweden. How we look at Nasdaq Baltic, we have 404 million shares plus another 331,000. We have 5,598 honorable shareholders, and our market capitalization is 350.51 million euros. The turnover and price of Litgrid shares, I would say, remain stable, except few higher peaks, and it typically is during the period of dividend payment. Our free flow shares is 2.5%. Very often we receive questions, are there any plans to increase? I have to say that this question is into agendas. We discuss it in company, among company management, but so far any decisions, any reliable predictions I cannot share with you, so no decisions are taken, hard to predict, but discussion is in place. Do we pay dividends? Yes, we do, and you can see in numbers, the only exceptional year was year 2015, dividends was 0, and the reason for that is we have huge investment peak. We were finalizing Nordbalt and Litpolink. I will show investment numbers in next slides. It's very important message for investors that on 18th August this year, Litgrid adopted new dividend policy. So now you can read it, it's available in internet. And according to this new dividend policy, the company is going to pay, the company will allocate dividends from 60 to 85% of distributable profit, depending on annual return on equity. About investments, the yellow chart indicates investments. As I said already, the peak was in 2015, more than 200 million euros. It's almost 5 times more than the regular investments, annual investments. So that's the reasons why I didn't pay dividends this particular year. And we are happy to share with you that our investments contributes to the health of business, of our stakeholders, to the health of Lithuanian economy. So energy not supplied is decreasing, so system reliability is in very good level. It's a challenge to keep it in the same level, and wholesale price is decreasing. And it's very good message, especially for business. Business is consuming 70% of electricity in Lithuania. 30% is consumed by households, and as I told 5 minutes ago, industry consumption is the fastest growing consumption in Lithuania from electricity perspective. Is good message. Business is developing, electricity consumption is growing, and electricity wholesale price is decreasing. So good opportunities for business, for Lithuanian economy and for development. About investments in grid, where we invest. On the map, you can see our main investments. So starting from west, we building new line Kretinga-Benaičiai. This line will help to increase security of supply in western region, as well to better utilize renewables energy sources. We are building new line in Klaipėda-Marios. So additional important line close to Kaliningrad border is Bitėnai-Pagėgiai, important line not only for security of supply of western part of Lithuania, but also important line for successful synchronization project. We building new line between Kruonis and Alytus, new line Vilnius Elektrėnai, or Lithuanian power plant located in Elektrėnai. We preparing our northeastern grid, optimizing and preparing for synchronization. Grid optimization will allow us to save more than 7,000 euros per year, because Ignalina nuclear power plant substation is old and is much bigger than we need today. When Ignalina nuclear power plant was running, the substation was fine, it was utilized, it was necessary to evacuate electricity produced in Ignalina to keep nuclear power plants running in secure mode. But now it's too big, we don't need any more such big power station, we will reduce it. We will change old equipment to new one, and this will help us to save more than 700,000 euros just for maintenance per year. And many substation reconstruction projects like Kaunas hydropower plant, Trakai, Kuršėnai, Kretinga, Zokniai, Grigiškės, Rietavas, Vilnius, and others. We have a policy approved in Litgrid, so our aim is to reconstruct, to fully renovate from 5 to 6 substations per year, and this will lead to keep system security in existing level. We depend very much from dialogue with regulator, and we see regulator as our strategic partner. We have to be open with regulator, we have to be transparent against regulator. Regulator should trust us, and we believe that the optimum balance between efficient operation and value creation for society is the key. We discuss with regulators not only tariff, we discuss dividends, we discuss investments, we discuss income from congestion. It's a new thing for Lithuanian power system. Income of congestion, it's an income due to price difference between Sweden and Lithuania and between Sweden and Poland. As bigger price difference, as bigger income. We have to agree with regulator what to do with those money, where to invest, how to share with grid consumers, electricity consumers, with grid users. We running auctions on power reserves to buy power reserves in the most efficient way. We discuss with regulator how to prepare our system for synchronization, how much money we need, do we really need such amount, how to efficiently invest. We ensure power system reliability. We use EU funds as an opportunity to renovate power system quicker and to reduce electricity tariff as well. And the last picture showing a crossroad. It's not our infrastructure, believe me, we own electricity grids, but due to the fact that we are working in region, we are crossroads between north and south, between east and west, and we are small. power system. For instance, Sweden is 16 times bigger than we are. Our neighbor Poland is 15 times bigger than we are. Being small, we playing a very key role because all our neighbors, all transit flows depends very much on our performance. And due to the fact that we are operating among such big power system, our grid is very complicated. We don't have small grid, we have complicated grids, and we have to keep our knowledge, our competences in certain level to generate positive opportunities for business and for Lithuanian economy as depends on us. That's all I'd like to share with you for today. I'm open for your questions. If you have any, please feel free to ask anything. I will answer. If I will not know the answer, it may happen. If you will ask me something about I don't know, flowers, I will not know most probably, but if you will ask about energy, how to keep system in secure level in Europe or in Lithuania, you can be sure I will answer you.
Okay, thank you, Daivis, for your presentation. We will now continue with the questions in the order that they were received. So please give us a second just for the questions to be lined up. We'll be back shortly. Okay, thank you everybody for being on hold. We are back on air, and we will go now over questions in the order that they were received. So I will state the first question. The first question is when the sleeves of NordBalt cable will be replaced next year? Are there any specific timetable?
Thank you for the question. Of course, it's important not only for Litgrid but for power exchange and for electricity grid consumers. And as we mentioned today, it's agreed already among Litgrid, Svenska Kraftnät, Swedish TSO, and ABB to replace cable joints in NordBalt. We still going according to our initial plan. We testing them to make sure the technology is good, to make sure replaced joints will fulfill function as it should. The concrete detailed timetable is not available yet. We still keep the same timetable to replace them during the year 2018. And understanding the importance of timetable to the power exchange and to electricity consumers, we will inform as soon as we will get it. For such purposes, we use Nord Pool Spot urgent market messages system if it's urgent, or other market information system in Nord Pool Spot. So we will strictly follow rules of Nord Pool Spot to informed market players during the Nord Pool Spot platform as soon as we will know it. And we cooperate very closely with Svenska Kraftnät according to it. Last week our experts visited Svenska Kraftnät and laboratory just to check how it's going on, but nothing to share with you so far.
Okay, thank you for this answer. The second question is, what is the deadline for synchronization deal so that project would be finished on time?
It's a very good question, especially about the deadline. If we look to the law in Lithuania, The deadline is set to 2020. I'm sure nobody believes it's realistic. I'm not sure does everyone believe when they set the date, because it's extremely optimistic. Even our consultant, Gottlieb Power, when they did a study about the synchronization, they said, guys, with all respect, 2020, we can call it optimistic, but it's not realistic. The more realistic date is 2025. I believe it's achievable, but we have to work very quick, and we have to use existing infrastructure. I mean, 2 lines in LitPolink 1. It's double circuit line. The transmission capacity of those 2 lines is 2,400 megawatts. If to compare, this compares with 2 nuke reactors. It's a big capacity. Now trading is limited due to HVDC station to 500, but the line is able to transmit 2,400 megawatts. And if we would agree in Baltic to use this existing infrastructure as a key scenario, to synchronize our system, and then after synchronization to look about possibilities how to develop another lines, there are many options. It's achievable 2025. But today we don't have political agreement among Estonians, Lithuanians, and Latvians. Estonians didn't agree to sign memorandum of understanding. It's not signed political memorandum of understanding. Estonians, they have own arguments, they presented them, but the result is that memorandum is not signed yet, and it makes us worry a bit, and we have to think as grid operators what to do to achieve our goal as soon as possible and not later than 2025. Other important factor to mention is our isolated operation test of Baltic. We just completed the study, so we will finalize the study on 31st of August. After 31st of August, we will share more details. The aim of isolated operation is not only to prepare for synchronization as a part of preparation works from project point of view, but also to check, to test our system technical capabilities, to improve it, and to make it isolated operation better in the future. The last isolated operation test took place in 2002, so 15 years passed away, so many things changed in infrastructure, so we have to test once again to make sure what can we improve and to make those improvements.
Okay, thank you for this answer. The third question that we have is, what is the total expected capital investments amount for the full year of 2017?
As it is presented during my presentation, you can find this number. Our expected investments for the year 2017 is 45 million euros. Typically, it's a mismatch due to different reasons. For instance, if we planned ideal weather conditions for construction works, but we used to have some more raining days than we forecasted. I mean, our contractor forecasted, so it might be some delay. But approximately it's 45 million euros for year 2017.
Okay, thank you for this answer. Another question we have, I will state it now. What is the annual average electricity consumption growth for Lithuania that Litgrid's management uses in its medium-term forecast? I will repeat the question. What is the annual average electricity consumption growth for Lithuania that Litgrid's management uses in its medium-term forecast?
Thank you. To study forecast in more detail, you have to open Litgrid 10-year network development plan, which is published. So we will update it in autumn, as far if I'm not mistaken. But in general, we forecast few scenarios, 3 scenarios: pessimistic, realistic, and optimistic. And according our realistic scenarios, which we believe is a base scenario, we forecast around 4 or 5%. I would say more 4 than 5. And in statistic, we see 3% growth. It means it's not a 4 as we take as a base scenario. It's a bit lower. About the tendency in the future, can we expect 4% growth as we forecasted? Yes, we do. If to look to the whole Europe picture, Baltic countries, the Baltic countries' electricity demand is growing. Poland is growing. Such countries like Germany or France even decreasing. And the reason is very simple one. After 50 years stagnation of economy, many things to do, many opportunities for development in Central Eastern Europe, in Baltic, and that's the key reason why electricity demand is still growing. If I may take example of such developments like data center, let's assume somebody would decide to build data center in Lithuania. The typical data center may consume from 80 to 100 megawatts. It's not a huge one, it's mid-size. And this would significantly influence Lithuanian electricity consumption growth. And good message for data center development would be that they can buy electricity not only in Lithuania, but they can buy electricity in Latvia, in Estonia, in Sweden, in Poland, in the whole Scandinavia, in Central Eastern Europe. So that's very short comment.
Okay, thank you for this answer. And we have the last question on the list so far. I will state it now. Litgrid has just published a dividend policy. Could it be seen as a commitment to pay stable dividends?
Thank you. As I told already, I'm looking at my presentation. Yes, the dividend policy was adopted on 18 August, and can we be sure and can we be committed about stable dividends? It's important to say that this dividend policy we received as proposal from our mother company, EPSA-G. It's our biggest shareholder, and I don't see any reasons why EPSA-G would not keep this policy. I mean, many discussions took place, and EPSA-G prepared very professionally the document, and it's very logical one, and if I would be an investor, I would read it carefully, and I believe FSG as a shareholder will keep this policy. At least I don't have any signals why they will not do it. So that would be my comment.
Okay, thank you for this answer. So looks like we have covered all the questions so far. We will give you the last chance to pose more questions. So please, if you have more questions, do so it now. We'll be on hold just for a few seconds for the last opportunity for you to ask questions. Okay, it looks like there's no questions from the audience. Daivis, I'll give you a floor for a few concluding words.
Thank you very much. I hope it was interesting for you. If you have any comments according content of presentation, according to your expectation, I would be extremely careful if you would share with NASDAQ. If you would like to be anonymous, that's no problem, but all comments, all let's say suggestions, proposals would be very, very important for me, and that's a chance for me to improve and to better fulfill your expectation in the future. Thank you and have a nice day.
Okay, so on behalf of Litgrid, thank you everyone for participating. It was a pleasure to be with you on this webinar session. The recording of the presentation will be available in the NASDAQ Baltic YouTube channel, webinar playlist, and you will also receive a follow-up email as well with a direct link to today's recording. Thanks again, Mr. Daivis Verbickas, for your time, and thank you everyone for participating. Have a nice day.